As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, and its centers of excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies. Welcome the participants and from India and abroad for the National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 on every Thursday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Today, the 3rd December 2020, this webinar is on the topic Digital AgriTech and Industry Perspective. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and also as a Professor Emeritus and Chairman of the Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, welcome our today's guest speaker, Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta of Bayer, India, and Mr. Aneesh Jain of UNNATI. So far, under this webinar series, the university has organized 9 webinars on the topic. The first one was on role of agricultural cooperative societies and e-governance, inaugurated by Dr. Ashok Dalwai, the chairman of Doubling the Farmers' Income by 2022, and also now the chairman of the Empowered Committee on Implementation of Doubling Farmers' Income. The second one was on blockchain technology-based fishery value chain. Third, a self-contained village, a felt need of the day. Fourth was on spices informatics network value chain. Fifth was on lantana camera, a camouflaged treasure trove. Sixth was on smart hill agriculture. Seventh was on Mera Mobile, Mera marketing. Eighth was on integrated mariculture, aquaponics, and precision agriculture, MAPA biofarms for income revolution. And ninth was on smart tribal agriculture, optimizing value chain. Today is the 10th edition of the National Webinar Series, which will be addressed by eminent scientist, Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta, and distinguished technocrat, Mr. Aneesh Jain. We'll have the talks on the topic Digital AgriTech and Industry Perspective. To introduce to the audience the theme of the conference, I would like to bring out some information related to this aspect. ICT-enabled farm-centric agricultural services has been on the talk for more than 3 decades. Indian Agriculture Conference, with its sheer complexity, inadequate factors of production, weather uncertainties, multiplicity of schemes, and multiplicity of institutions at the farm level, Indian farming community comprises about 13 crore farmers, of which 85% farmers have small and marginal size operational holdings. Agriculture services such as agricultural advisories, financial services, agriculture marketing, and risk transfer are required for the entire agriculture commodity value system of the farmer. Farmer needs timely, location-specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. This requires a robust national database on farmers, about 13 crores, with their assets and prevailing agrarian distress at the grassroots level. Many national level programs, namely Digital India 2015, Make in India 2015, Skill India 2015, Startup India 2015, and Stand Up India 2015 have faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, and that too at small and marginal farmers. ICT-enabled services, digitalization of agriculture, and farm extension 4.0 were deliberated in the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 report 2018, in which I was the chairman of two subcommittees, namely Digital Technology in Agriculture, Volume 12B, Chapter 7 to 10, and Volume 11 on Empowering the Farmers through Extension and Knowledge Dissemination. I would like to inform the audience that the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 Committee Report 2018 has suggested in its Volume 12B the strategic use of digital technology in farming system life cycle through 7 mission mode programs, which is discussed in Chapter 10. One is on digitalized agriculture, means digital technology and innovation in agriculture, synergizing Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, and Startup India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture sector in 3 broad categories: smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. Second one is on digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management systems. Third is on digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming. Fourth is on digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities. Fifth is on digitalized access to inputs, technology, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to farmers. Sixth is on digitalized integrated land and water management system to promote per drop more crop. And seventh one was very important, to have digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers losses, which will include farmers health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, and fishery health. In view of its importance to achieve the objective of doubling farmers' income by 2022 mission, it is essential to undertake creation of National Farmers Database built on the principle of Aadhaar Database Platform or GSTN Database Platform on about 14 crore farmers and associated their agricultural resources as a mission mode project, involving 2.25 lakhs common services centers of Digital India initiative. The DFI, Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 mission mode program, digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities, may facilitate formation of more than 6,500 agri startups, one per block, or even 2.25 lakh agri startups, one per each gram panchayat, which can ease out supply side lock in logistics of agricultural value system. It is a high time that we understand and answer the question, how well do we know our farmers? This COVID-19 lockdown crisis provides the country both opportunities and challenges. This includes operationalization of DFI 2022 mission mode program on the digitalization of agriculture for empowering our farming community by establishing Agriculture 4.0. Farm-wise database and farmer-wise database are the two basic assets on which Agriculture 4.0 shall operate to minimize COVID-19 like situation in near future. National Digital Communication Policy 2018, under its Mission 2022, has envisaged Connect India, which has components of BharatNet, GramNet, NagarNet, and Gen Wi-Fi infrastructure. Propel India through services based on 5G, artificial intelligence, blockchain, IoT, cloud computing, and big data analytics. And Secure India, ensuring sovereignty, safety, and security of digital communications. Digitalization of agriculture facilitates farm-centric services and demand through internet-enabled end-user computing devices. And I also would like to reiterate the Digital Technology in Agriculture, Volume 12B of the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 Committee Report. Chapter 7 talks about role of digital technologies. Chapter 8 talks about digitalization across agriculture value system. Chapter 9 discuss about digitalization of villages, and which is largely, which talks about agricultural activities are largely undertaken at village level, and one can envisage digital technologies for sustainable development of villages. Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana and District Plan Project for establishing smart village to facilitate appropriate digital technology in agriculture are the efforts in this direction. And chapter 10 gives the roadmap for modernizing agriculture. There have been emphasis on marketing innovations in agriculture, input supply chain for cost reduction, and output supply chain for increase in profitability. Agriculture Extension System 4.0 for increase in farm productivity, convergence of agriculture technologies and digital technologies for smart farming in irrigated areas, rainfed areas, and tribal areas, and rural processing enterprises and processing technologies, including technologies for generating wealth from agricultural waste. Emerging green technology, GRIN, G for genomics, R for robotics, I for informatics, and N for nanotechnology paradigm facilitates digitalization process in agriculture system intensively, and therefore demand for agricultural informatics professionals for this paradigm is echoing. To bridge the gap of increasing and evolving human resources IT startups in the farming sector throughout the country. During the COVID-19 situation, lockdown period, the university has organized and planned a series of webinars with relevant stakeholders to build ICT-enabled mango value chain project, potato value chain project, inland fishery value chain project, jackfruit value chain project, moringa value chain project, and banana value chain project through its centers of excellence. Development of smart farmer, smart farming, smart village in an agriculture ecosystem shall lead to national open digital ecosystem node of the country. Agriculture data has become a major source of competitive advantage. About 14 crore farming community generated data farm-wise and 400 commodities data for big data analytics. Technologies such as edge artificial intelligence, cloud, fog, edge computing, language computing are deepening their impacts progressively in farming sector. Digital technologies, blockchain, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, big data analytics, GIS, smartphone, internet, cloud computing, language computing facilitate farming community empowered progressively through the newly evolving artificial informatics discipline. BharatNet can be viewed as the digital network for farmers and their agricultural value chain. Human potential are our greatest untapped assets. It is a time to look into the new discipline, namely agricultural informatics and e-governance research to facilitate digital AgriTech in the country. Our farmers, our farming sector, and our villages are the foundation of Atmanirbhar Bharat, said the Prime Minister of India, Honorable Shri Narendra Modi, in his Man Ki Baat program on 29th November 2020. Self-reliance in agriculture is the first step towards attaining economic power. Under the Digital India program, let us achieve smart farmer, smart farming, and smart village. Our country is an agrarian economy and hence request to be digitalized agriculture economy at the earliest on priority basis. Let us now turn to today's topic, digital agri-tech and industry perspective. So far, we must have listened, we must have attended topics on digital agri-tech, an academic perspective, an extension perspective, a research perspective, a startup perspective, and a farmer perspective. Today, we are going to have talk by two eminent professionals, eminent scientists, and another one is, distinguished technocrat on digital agri-tech and industry perspective. The first talk will be by Dr. Sangeeta, the Mendiratta. I would like to introduce appropriately Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta. Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta is the lead of Government Affairs in Crop Science Division, Public Affairs and Sustainability at Bayer, India, Delhi. She has vast experience of working in the field of molecular biology and genetic engineering. She has worked in prestigious institutes like National Bureau of Plant Genome Research, Indian Agriculture Research Institute of Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and Jawaharlal Nehru University. For the last 1.5 decades, Dr. Sangeeta is working in the corporate world agriculture sector at Bayer India on regulatory and policy aspects of modern India. In her current role at Bayer India, Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta is passionate to play a role in introduction of innovations, precision agri tools, digitization towards sustainable agriculture. Despite her demanding engagement at Bayer India, Dr. Sangeeta takes keen interest in the school and college curriculum, particularly biotechnology. In addition to the introduction of Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta, I also would like to talk about a little bit about the company she represents. In India, Bayer India Crop Science Division works with nearly 20 million farmers. As a market leader in crop protection with business in seeds, traits, biological, digital farming, and environmental science, Bayer India is committed to advancing Indian agriculture and promoting India as a key provider for agriculture solutions globally. During 2018, a global alliance led by Bayer and International Finance Corporation had partnership with e-commerce firm Big Basket to help small farmers in India raise their income by providing them knowledge to use inputs efficiently and timely, as well as access to market to sell produce. And Bayer Companies Limited has also signed a partnership with Big Hog, a leading agri-input e-commerce platform, to enable last-mile delivery of Bayer's seeds and crop protection products directly to farmers' doorstep. I welcome Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta to address the audience today. Dr. Sangeeta, over to you.
Good morning, Professor Moni, and thank you very much for the generous introduction as well as a great overview and setting the stage for today's discussion and topic, which is digital agri-tech. Good morning, everyone. And I have already been very graciously introduced, and also the company I represent, which is Bayer India. Shortly, I am just sharing my screen with you for the presentation.
It is not uploading.
It is not uploading, sir. Just a second.
Okay. Mr. Manish, you can remove other one and give the total space to the madam. You can you can
But,
come out and share once again.
okay.
You you stop sharing and then come once again share.
Trying to share, but somehow it is not sharing anything.
Okay, madam, can you forward through email? I'll share from this side.
Okay, just a second, because this is a big one and not even sent through email. All right, I'm sharing my whole screen, and
Okay, it has come. It is coming. Go to the first one. Good.
all right. Sorry for the glitch, and as already introduced by Professor Moni, India is home to about 140 million smallholder farmers who contribute to about 40% of the country's grain production and over half of its production of the food products, which is fruits, vegetable, oil seeds, and everything. The learnings from the pandemic for the last 8 to 9 months have been really given a lot of push and opportunity for the agriculture technology tools and also agriculture technology course in the digital space, which is advisory, e-commerce, etc., to respond to the situation, and also has progressed the penetration of its acceptability among farmers. The convergence of mobile networks for the advisory to the farmers, the broadband internet, the cloud platforms, IoT, and open data is helping transform one of the world's oldest profession, which is agriculture. And this is an interesting trend to watch for, is the rise of the number of agritech entrepreneurs, which are more than 450 in the last 1 year itself. The overall contribution to the agri-tech startups has been $1.3 billion from 2015 to 2019 only in the last 5 years, while it was only $0.3 billion, standing at this point at $1.9 billion. So this is just an indicator for the ecosystem for technology and digital solutions, which is expanding at an impressive pace in India. Like the global market for precision agriculture is expected to grow at an annual growth rate of somewhere around 13% to reach a market size of US billion dollars, around $7 billion by 2022. The agri-tech startup ecosystem, which also is a very impressive sign for our agriculture youth, our students who are in the university taking up this subject. So there is a vast opportunity for them to enter into this field of agriculture, see this as a very lucrative and a very creative profession, which was lacking prior. And as rightly mentioned by Professor Moni in his address about the doubling farmers' income. So we are all aware that this government's huge initiative and mission to empower the rural India and the farmer in general has been, really giving a boost through the agri-tech program and the volume which is contributed by Professor Moni. The agri-tech business landscape from an industry perspective, if I talk about, has about 7 different categories. The first is the agriculture, biotechnology, and biomaterials. Then there is agriculture finance, insurance, and technology, which is called AgFinTech. There are supply chain technologies upstream and downstream. And my talk today will be more focused about the precision and digital agriculture technology, where most of the companies are using digital data to target smart farming. And they could be using sensors or working with remote sensing data. They could also be using machine learning on farm data to enhance the role of analytics and predictability in the sector. This category covers digital platforms that provide mechanization solutions and crop advisory, weather modeling, machine learning led grading solutions, and last but not the least is the drone. The sixth area is robotics and mechanization, and then the seventh one, the agri infrastructure technology, to which during COVID time also our finance ministers had announced subsidy or already a grant of 1 lakh crore. So going to the bear vision, which is health for all and hunger for none. Bear is a company which is in three segments. One is crop sciences. We deal with seeds, crop protection, agrochemicals, ES, environmental sciences. And the second one is pharmaceuticals. And the third one is consumer health. About the crop protection, the crop science segment to which I belong, it is the world's leading agricultural enterprise, and it has a portfolio of high value seeds, improved plant traits, innovative chemical and biological crop protections, digital solution, and extensive customer service for sustainable agriculture. We deal in a lot into numerous models for there are local R&Ds set up in several or most of the countries for breeding, propagation, production, and processing of seeds, including seed dressing, which takes place at location closer to our customers, either at our own facilities or under contract. Going back to again some more details about our uh, mission or our expertise on these 4 5 different portfolios where we deal in. So our uh, main logo or mission is innovation. Bear thrives a lot on its potential for faster and more efficient development of tailored solutions which reflect the specific needs of our customers in farms, crops, and in soils. By 2050, as you're all aware, we'll have an additional 2 billion people on the planet, which will require about 50% more food from the same agricultural food crops or the same agricultural land. At the same time, the climate change is also leading to more volatile weather and generally warmer conditions. Experts have estimated that by 2050 we'll have lost 17% of our annual harvest from our four key crop groups like coarse grains, oilseeds, wheat and rice to the climate change. When you look at the contribution of population growth and a fixed footprint of arable land, this translates into a 20% reduction of arable land per person for food production, which is about a quarter of a football field at a basic level. So, Bayer has a vision and mission to help farmers address the significant challenges they face to advance agriculture through breakthrough innovation that benefits the whole ecosystem of farmers, consumers, and also our planet through the application of science and technology. We can increase production in a very sustainable way. The four components in the circle represent the portfolio to which we bring innovation through seeds and traits, through the crop protection, agrochemicals, and through the digital agriculture tools and the tailored solutions. Let me go a little deep and briefly to share some more light on the current food paradox uh, in the current by giving some figures. The demand for food is going to increase, and some 800 million people are going to bed hungry every day. This is by FAO. The food production will have to increase by 50% to feed the planet by 2050. Again, a FAO report. So, what is uh, the answer? All this means that in the future we will need to produce significantly more while protecting our limited natural resources, since we are already losing 12 million hectares of land due to soil degradation, and it actually takes 1000 years to generate just 3 centimeter of the topsoil. The slide also talks about our three mega showing the mega trends until 2050, the societal needs, which is to secure a sufficient supply of quality food for the plus 2.2 billion people, and pressure on our ecosystem, which is reducing 17% of the harvest losses due to climate change, and then significant loss in the arable land at the rate of 20%. There are societal needs to secure a sufficient supply of quality food and use the natural resources more responsibly and efficiently. And all these are being addressed through the mission of the company, which is Science for a Better Life. When we talk about all these issues and about all these numbers, so this is an aerial photo uh, of some of this is already I have covered in what and why we need innovation: increasing demands, going down supply, increasing world population, decreasing land, and then the shift in the consumption. And this is the COVID times, we have already been experiencing it. The agriculture sector per se is a holistic requirement now to have more protein availability and a more qualitative food availability, not only from few limited group of crops, but through a diverse and holistic platform, which covers dairy, which covers fisheries, which covers horticulture. So there will be about 70% more demand for meat or the other parts of agricultural portfolio. And all this, since we are also reducing the land at the rate of 0.16 hectare for food per capita. To illustrate the benefits and of innovation in agriculture, this slide talks about the innovation in agriculture, which allows us to grow more with a less in a more sustainable manner. And this is an aerial photo of a demo plot, which is grown for an insect resistant event in US. This is early August 2019, and each plot was produced using different seeds, traits, treatments, crop protection, etc., and based on availability during the different time frames listed on the slide. So it starts from 1940, which represents the average growth between 1900 and 1960, the era before hybrid corn. and we required about say 1347 meters square of the land to have and also 12,000 plants to have a 250 kg yield per plot. In 1980, approximately, we required about 400 meters square of land to have the same amount of production per plant. So this is the through the advancement in the germplasm and also various other factors in advanced agriculture. In 2000, it shows the land also again going down to 297. In 2018 to 223 meters square, and in 2019 to 167. And in the future, the aim is to have about 48,000 plants per acre compared to 12,000 plants. So how can we have more plants with a smaller land for the same amount of production using various advanced genetics and the crop protection measures is a very good illustration in this slide. How the technology evolves. Agriculture, as we are all now have been viewing, is undergoing a digital transformation, and that is very much important for the reach to the farmers. There are smallholder farmers, which are again of the same number as approximately the land we have. So per farmer, it is about 2 to 3 acres of land, and how we make that reach to each farm, to each farmer. How can we give the advisory for a better production is the theme for digital transformation, and is also the objective of digital transformation of India. In the 80s and 90s, the technology was booming, or we thought so. Various companies have put satellites into the orbit, cameras became more accessible, and consumers even started to buy computers for their homes. So, all this combined has now come into one device, which is a smartphone. And it is needless to say that almost everyone in this country now uh, is holding a phone or a smartphone in his hands, and also the internet is also accessible at much larger volume of people than before. Fast forward into 20 or so years, and also those pieces of technologies can be accessed from a single device now, which is smartphone. Agriculture is undergoing the similar transition, like the examples of 80s and 90s, which are happen in the consumer goods. And the similar while but evolution in other industry, and that is all beginning to change the and and as already kind of informed to you, is the climate corporation, the agency which is developing product offerings, for example climate field view, that can bring the various facets of technology all together. I will go deep down into what is it that the data is driving in agriculture. You have seen it happening in recent years, but everything in agriculture is becoming data driven now. In seed genetics, Bayer is mapping the seed genomes to better understand the hybrid performance, increasing the pace on breeding and hybrid advancement. Data collection on field for the environmental conditions using weather stations, harnessing this data collected from the equipment for the information from hardware, and also through sensors inside the soil to the uh, imagery sensors on satellites and everywhere in between. So these are the four main pillars for better productivity, and all this generate and depend on a lot of data which is driving the agriculture. Globally, there is a lot of opportunity now which we have for digital transformation. Farmers and yield is a factor of three main things, which is genetics or the inherent potential of the seed, the environment, which depends on the weather and variability of also the soil types, the farming practices. So every season a farmer takes about 40 decisions. It is about what type of seeds to plant, what type of crop protection to use, how many pests are there, and so and so forth. This is both in terms of product combinations, in terms of the digital information which is available through various different platforms. Government advisories are also available, from private sector also lot of information is sent to the farmers. And also, as I was briefing about the number of startups which have come into a place in India in the last 5 years. So the farmer has lot of information and has to take an informed decision on the farming practices to be implied to have a better production. And also, how can we make it more focused to have tailored solution, have an informed decision already provided to the farmer for better yield, which would lead to and translate into a better income, helping into the doublings farmer income. There is a lot. I was talking about data. There is a vast and different types of data which are being generated through machine learning capabilities. And there are a lot of research trials and also specific equipment or specific databases like field view or climate view. It has three functionalities. One is it keeps data in one place, consolidation of all data from different sources. It can benchmark and tabulate. And thirdly, it can also do input optimization, advisory, and recommendation. And it explains how the uh, we are developing more and more uh, algorithm to provide data science based advisory capability in India. It develops seed placement models, validates those models, and then this improves the predictive analysis for making pre-informed decisions for the farm. Uh, I may not need a lot of emphasis to say that India is a country of smallholders, and the smallholder footprint in Asia Pacific for India is very large. More than 80% of the farmers in India and Asia Pacific are smallholder farmers. And farmers cannot uh, solve all their existing challenges and get out of the situation by themselves. So, today, a whole ecosystem around partial solutions to farmers exist, which is also again a problem. As agricultural problems of the farmers are largely interrelated. Individual solutions may not be able to help that much. And the big question is, how do we leverage the shared thinking, the shared economy, and how do we smartly connect the existing resources in order to drive completely a new business model for agriculture? Make agriculture as an agri entrepreneurship model to our younger generation, to the coming advanced India. And digital can definitely take this role very well. This is a it can transform agriculture just as it has transformed every other industry, from sensors to satellites to smart irrigation systems. It has enabled farmers to take advantage of all the data at their fingertips to use resources more efficiently, make agriculture better for the environment while maximizing their farming potential. At Bayer, we are embracing the growing potential of more advanced solutions, digital tools, data analytics to accelerate our research and also of our partners and collaborators. We're working with innovative digital partners, including a subsidiary of Bayer, the Climate Corporation, and cutting edge technologies such as the advanced seed scripting tools, which enable farmer to combine multiple data sets to use resources more efficiently and reach their farming potential. From sensors to satellites and smart irrigation systems, digital technologies enabling farmer to take advantage of the data at their fingertips to build successful farms and make agriculture more sustainable. We mentioned some of the countries in this picture which are going much ahead than India for harnessing the digital tools, the digital technology. To name a few is China, Vietnam, also Philippines, which are using these tools very extensively to uh, help the farmer, help the transformation of agriculture, and increase the productivity for the country and the whole globe per se. From smallholders pain points, there's a whole value chain and whole lot of decisions which are bifurcated at two very specific blocks. One is the decision which he takes within the farm, and the second block which is after the farm gate. So I talked about first the decisions, the 40 crucial decisions which a farmer take while growing a crop, while making the produce. And then there are again for the end use, which is the after the farm gate, there are challenges related to the storage and transport of sales, of processing, or wholesale and retail. So there is a whole value chain of the agriculture uh, domain which needs to be connected through the digital technology, which is the AgTech. So we have lack of sustainable financing resources. We have uh, not better net income after the farm gate. Access to new technology and resources is limited to Indian farmer, and the market is not very stable when we look at after the farm gate, which is the market linkages are not so strong. You're all aware about the new agri reforms bills which have been already enacted by the parliament this year. So this is to empower the farmer to better realize the price for their produce, and also to address some of the challenges related to the storage and transport, sales as well as processing. How do we connect all the farmers with the local agriculture ecosystem to overcome the smallholder challenges? Together with the government advisory for the input providers, to the insurance companies, to the local retailer, to the harvest teams, to spray gangs, to the banks, to the field workers, and also the off takers. Digitization and partnership, which will drive this scalable reach to improve smallholders' productivity and livelihood. The three main components are digital advisory for better outcome, the use of drones for data collection and also for spraying of crop protection molecules, and then the digitally enabled agro ecosystem on a single integrated device, which will help farmer to take all this smart decision through one platform, integrating all this information in his hands. How do we aspire to have a daily conversation with our smallholders, to have a digital companion of the farmer in the form of a digital platform on available on an Android like mobile device, and the name which has been given to this is the Farm Rise. The mission of Bear is to develop such a platform to provide to the smallholders, which provides access and also helps them with informed decisions to reduce the cost, increase the yield, get better price for the product, and also has all the features put together for the advisory, be it commodity price, be it the weather, about the government schemes per state for taking the credit or for the crop insurance or for taking the various DBTs, direct benefit transfer scheme. This is a app for chat also, where farmers would be able to interact amongst them and also seek guidance. For two of the this is base specific, Decal for corn and Seminis for vegetables. So the specific capabilities built to inform farmers about the superior genetics on these crops available in the bear portfolio. I'll take some time to talk about the use of drones for agrochemicals spraying in agriculture. This has been a revolutionary solution in some of the countries in Asia Pacific, and being increasingly now appreciated for the efficiency it brings, and also the safety which is attached uh, to this operation, which has been conventionally done by farmers for the last several years. uh, the drones use very less water volume compared to the conventional sprayer. Is just 3% of the water volume of the manual application. The cost of treatment compared to the manual application is very less, and these are very safer to operate because this is done through UAS, which is controlled by an operator outside the field, so there is no exposure. Crop protection, as we're aware, are come with advisories due to their nature to uh, reduce or kill the unwanted pests in the field. So this is safer to operate due to lower pesticide exposure. It is more efficient because the spraying happens in the entire canopy uh, of the plant, be it the upper surface of the leaf or the lower surface of the leaf, compared to the manual one. It is more efficient. In 10 to 15 minutes it can spray the whole 1 acre of the field. It's 30 times more efficient, to be precise on data. And then compared to the manual one, it definitely is more easier, gives a kind of mode of ease of operation to the farmer. So the big opportunity for drones in smallholder agriculture in India. Asia is already leading, as drones for spraying are really key enablers for the green revolution of smallholder farming. It offers productivity gains by providing precision application, improved precision application, operator safety, better access, and also water conservation. These are already integrally used in agriculture in China, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Philippines are already finalizing the regulations for drones. And also this is in terms of application technology, provides a lot of uh, I would say productivity gains, and also it is most relevant to the current ecosystem of farming. This slide talks about degree of agri mechanization in the last 4 years in the whole world, and we can clearly see that several countries around globe which have an per operator degree of agri mechanization as high as 2 to as low as zero point 0.5. Talk about India, probably it is in negatives, or it's very less. So agri mechanization is a very important element of the overall agri tech to empower the farmer with new tools and new advanced machinery to help him take better advantage of the available uh, other resources. How are we helping the farmer in training and development of the drones, or the use of drones, both for the spraying of application, also for using the drones as sensors for taking the data related to the crop health, if how much is the pest infestation, etc., which is can be done in initial stages and also the later stages to kind of have a survey of the impact, how the type of the age of plants, and at what time which solution would be helpful. So this is relatively new in India. However, where is setting up training modules. Government of India has also now come up with a lot of policy framework around. Ministry of Civil Aviation has already released guidelines for use of application of drone in various sectors, and conditional exemptions are available for the drone operators to use in R&D trials to generate data. And also a lot of training institutes have been empowered by the Government of India now for train the pilots using drones in agriculture and other sectors. And it needs basic training for the pilots to fly the drones in the farms. So this also gives an opportunity for the coming generation of younger people to look as a profession which is more linked to agriculture being now more creative avenue for them rather than just the basic conventional form it was operating several years ago. The local youths who have studied agriculture, for example, BSc Agri, can get trained. The local rural youth can take advantage, having a smaller drone and using it in their fields and also for the fields of their fellow farmers as pilots. And then there can also be a course for pilots who want to pursue career in agriculture. Right now, Bayer is sponsoring the entire training cost, and there is a potential for more drone pilots basis the ecosystem we have for the 140 million uh, farmers or 160 million farmers in India. So this is the huge opportunity Indian youth should be looking for going forward. Indian agriculture has gone through many advancement through the enabling policy, which is the creed drivers, and it has created value. And I think few of the glimpses of how this policy has enabled was given at the onset of the seminar by Professor Moni. So bear through using this enabling policy creed drivers, which is the main important uh, 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 I would say thing which has helped us to enter into partnership both within the government agencies in a public private mode and also on a with the private partners, creating that kind of a linkage or the value chain linkage I was talking about in the front. So uh, the three main partnerships which you can see here is the blockchain boost, Bear and Alibaba, this China example. Then Bear partners with AgriBazaar to provide market linkages to smallholder farmers in India. So Bear has a specific program called Better Life Farming for the rural India. So with this program, Bear is entering into many projects with the governments of UP, Jharkhand, Bihar, and empowering their youth, uh, adopting some digital villages to transform for a forward farm model, which I talked about in my earlier slides. The third is in Japan model, the for drones, and Japan is a very good example. It's embraced US guidelines for spraying, very streamlined one. So these partnerships talk about digital farming, accelerated process with a strategic partnership with XAG and Bayer in Japan. And not to miss that all this with the vision of government of India, and the same syncing with synergizing with this mission of government of India for doubling the farmers income, empowering and enabling a better price of the products to the farmers. Digital technology is transforming agriculture just as it has transformed every other industries. And at Bayer, we are embracing the growing potential of more advanced solutions and digital tools, data analytics to accelerate our research and that of our partners. And also, but this is a unique opportunity to develop uh, an integrated digital platform, which is comprises of pre and post harvest marketplace, and this platform which could create a marketplace in which players across the value chain can interact with one another. This would provide them the opportunities to scale and also to increase their market access while enhancing the transparency of transactions, which lets farmer buy and sell their produce at the best possible prices. So it is also a transparent process for all the transactions, be it the supply chain upstream or the downstream process, where the farmers would be able to buy the genuine products and also to sell their produce at lucrative prices, and also being able to gain uh, and also for their health to use precision agriculture. Um, Dr. Moni talked about, Professor Moni talked about agriculture 4.0. So, I mean, in digital agriculture, when we were talking about digital 2.0, where the government of India made many 7-point agenda on various allied sectors of agriculture, improving the agriculture output. So, this whole panorama of technologies which are available to farmers would definitely lead India, or the digital India, in some of the key thrust areas identified by both Digital India for Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers in collaboration with industry, with the startups, with their like-minded companies, to have built the capabilities related to infrastructure and also having a quality produce and sale at the farm gate. So, with this, I thank you, the organizers, Shobhit University, Professor Moni, CAIRS, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your very innovative and uh, scientific address with international and national experience to the audience of this national webinar series on doubling forwards income by 2022. I'm very happy that you have covered almost all areas which we have suggested as a strategic intervention of digital technology by the doubling the farmers income by 2022 committee report chapter 10. And you almost covered all the 7 areas wherein the digital technology solutions are needed, and you are concentrated on smallholder farmer, and it is a very good experience, understanding, and also presentation by you to the audience. And with this, I thank you very much, and please be on the on the one. I will request uh, Mr. Aneesh Jain to deliver his talk. Before he starts his talk, I would like to introduce him uh, appropriately. Audience, we had a wonderful presentation by Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta from the Bayer's India Crops Science Division of in Delhi, and that is an international organization. Today we will have an address by, followed by Dr. Sangeeta's address. We'll have an address by Mr. Aneesh Jain. He is a distinguished technocrat, and is set up. He is a founder of UNNATI from Four Leaf Clover Agro Private Limited. It is a social enterprise specializing in connecting smallholder farmers with institutional buyer. So, one aspect of what Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta talked about it. Now he's going to talk on that how the smallholder farmers are connected with institutional buyers. The Gram Unati is operating in about 6 states, reaching 2 lakhs farmers. Mr. Aneesh Jain is a former McKinsey consultant and used to advise financial institutions in North America. Mr. Aneesh has also advised some multilateral institutions like International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, and International Finance Corporation, IFC, in the past. Mr. Aneesh Jain is a computer science engineer from IIT Kharagpur. Besides Gram Unati, Mr. Aneesh Jain is also on the board of a media company promoting folk and classical music. Yeah, vast experience as an engineer and a consultant and financial aspect, financial consultant, and also working with the small farmers. In addition to that, he also promote folk and classical music. And I understand that Gram Unnati Foundation is a not-for-profit set up by IIT and IIM graduates, which works for the improvement of farmers' life. Mr. Aneesh Jain, the Shobhit University and its faculty members, the Honorable Chancellor and Honorable Vice Chancellor, and my behalf, we welcome you to address the audience. Over to Mr. Aneesh Jain.
Thank you, Professor Moni.
Thank you.
It was, and Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta, it was really nice to listen to your talk. And after the initial introduction given by Professor Moni and the talk by Dr. Mendiratta, I don't think there is much which can be delved into in terms of the scope of AgriTech. What I will though share is my own experiences as an entrepreneur in the agricultural landscape, and some of the opportunities which we think are present over there, which still need to be, which as in those solutions still need to be found. And areas where potential of future entrepreneurs should be looking at, researchers should be looking at to explore how can the landscape kind of over time improve. A very quick background. We started Gram Unnati 7 years ago. 2013 is when we started. And in the last 7 years, we've expanded to 6 states. We reach out to almost 200,000 farmers across these states. The basic motive with which we started Gram Unnati was to see if you could kind of connect farmers and large institutional buyers. Because if you look at traditional value chains, there are a lot of intermediaries who play important roles to kind of aggregate the produce and make sure that it moves to the large institutional buyers. But if you could kind of start reducing the redundant ones and create value for both buyers and producers. Over time, we've also started looking at passing information from these agro processors. So if there's a company which processes wheat, if we can kind of inform farmers what kind of wheat to grow, which will help them get better value, we started doing a lot of that work. Overall, the objective is to create something which is sustainable, which enhances farmers' income, but in a very sustainable way. And we realize that in our approach, or the approach we've taken, we realize that the only way you can kind of achieve sustainable increase in prices and kind of sustainable enhancement of agricultural incomes is when you make sure that the farmer is not left alone. The farmer is working with different stakeholders, and all these different stakeholders are working because they have some kind of a financial benefit in it, right? So when a company like Bayer sells to farmers, the farmer obviously gets better productivity and gets a better quality produce, but the Bayer, as in Bayer, also kind of creates a long-term customer for their products. Similarly, when you kind of create a linkage between a farmer and a large agro processor, it cannot be at the cost of the agro processor shelling out more money. It has to create value for them, and that could be in terms of quality, that could be in terms of variety, that could be maybe just operational efficiencies coming in, which then lead to enhancement of income for the farmer. So that's Gram Unnati. My own talk is going to focus or like be have three different parts. The first is what are the different issues which agriculture is facing in India, and a lot of those have already been covered by Professor Moni and Dr. Mendiratta. The next one would be around opportunities in agri-tech, and again, a lot of it has already been done, but this is going to be my own perspective on how we look at agriculture in the country. And finally, the role of technology in all of this. And we call agri-tech, and we talk about agri-tech, and everyone ends up kind of thinking of digitization, but there is a lot more to agri-tech than simple digitization and simple IT. Professor Moni mentioned about green. That's a fantastic way of looking at agriculture. It's not just about data, but it's also about bringing in the right kind of sciences and tools which empower farmers. So quickly, the issues which farmers in India face, as we've been talking about, smaller land holdings, 85% of the farmers having less than 2 hectares of land, over 130 million farmers, so that kind of translates to over 100 million farmers having almost minuscule land holdings. India, when you compare the Indian landscape with any of the more advanced countries, the average land holding of a farmer in India is a fraction of what the farmer in the US or South America has. That plus the fact that almost 60% of our population is rural and is kind of linked to agriculture, it plays a very important role in the larger economy of the country. Our agriculture is also heavily dependent on monsoons, and that's something which is not really in our control. We can maybe get some idea of when the monsoons are going to come, but but beyond that, we have very little control in terms of whether the farmer will be able to sow their crops this year, whether they will have enough water to plant for the next season, and those decisions. The third one is a lot of the farmers' cropping decisions are based either on the availability of local markets, and you've got these very localized markets. So you will find that everyone in Nasik is growing onions. Why is Nasik the only place which is kind of growing onions? Why don't you have onions? And onions are consumed across the country. Why aren't people or farmers growing onions in other parts of the country? Some of it could be the weather conditions and soil conditions, but a lot of it is also driven by the fact that you've got an established market over there, which ensures that the farmer will always have a buyer available, and the other areas might not have that facility available. So you'll still find farmers growing small quantities of these products, but larger value chains haven't really evolved because of the lack of markets. The other thing which most of these farmers face is a challenge in kind of deciding what crops to sow that year. And a lot of the times, those decisions are based on what were the prices which they saw the year before, or what are the prices which they are seeing currently. And agriculture is a very you kind of you play a gamble, right? As in, when you plant your crop, you will only get your crop after 3 or 4 months, and you really don't know what productivity you're going to get. You don't know what prices are going to be over there. So a farmer is actually, the farmer is the greatest entrepreneur the world has ever seen, who starts a new business every season. A farmer plans what crops to grow. A farmer takes the risk of pricing, takes the risk of production. He or she arranges for finances, and they kind of run it as an enterprise. And at the end of the day, they close down that enterprise when the season ends by selling off this produce, and they start a new enterprise altogether. So the farmer kind of has to deal with those multiple aspects before they are able to choose what crops to grow. The next one, and which is a fairly important factor in our agricultural ecosystem, is especially when you're looking at it from the buyer's perspective, there is very limited quality standardization, and the food safety norms are still being understood by farmers. So a lot of farmers are still not aware of what chemicals to use, how do you kind of handle produce after that. A lot of our traditional practices, so you'll find farmers drying their produce in the open fields. It's all okay, because as long as maybe we've kind of become accustomed to eating that kind of food, but when you want to start dealing with international markets, all of these residue compliances start becoming more and more important, and that is both for chemical as well as non-chemical residues which come in. So that's a factor which needs addressing right now. And then finally, the larger or the bulk of farmers in our country are still are still uneducated, so they can't really read or write. So even if you come up with technologies which are able to kind of share texts or reports with them, or kind of give them written messages, you have to either make it very simple in terms of your communication, or you kind of pretty much have lost the farmer's attention when you are sharing this information. So your communication, be it written or even kind of verbal or pictorial communication, has to be very precise, and it has to be designed in a particular way to address the needs of the farmer. All in all, our own understanding of agriculture, which is a sad fact, is that most farmers are engaged in farming because they do not have other options, which is sad, because this is still pretty much the backbone of our economy in a way. And till that time we are able to help a farmer be proud of being a farmer, kind of take it professionally, make sure that they realize the fact that they are not just tilling the land, they are actually entrepreneurs who are feeding the country. We will be kind of caught up in that cycle of a farmer having low income. So that's in terms of the way we look at the Indian agricultural landscape. Where are the opportunities? The biggest opportunity is that there are so many problems, and with every problem there is an opportunity in terms of solving that. So you look at production, there are problems. You look at water, there are problems. You look at soil health, those are problems. You look at how markets operating. You look at how information is flowing, how farmers access finance, how farmers access information about weather or insurance. These are all problems. And the other big opportunity is all of these problems are interrelated. So finance comes in when you're able to de-risk production. How do you de-risk production? When you kind of do diversification. How do you do diversification? When you kind of bring in different crops. Why will farmers grow different crops? Because you can kind of link them with different markets. So all of those problems are interlinked. So the good part about agriculture is you've got a very large workforce. You've got 130 million potential customers. There are enough number of problems which need to be solved. A lot of these problems are interrelated. So there are more than one opportunities for collaboration, either with fellow entrepreneurs or with large companies, be it a Bayer or other companies. So in terms of opportunities, I personally think it's one of the greatest opportunities the country has. What COVID-19, the lockdown has also shown is that at the end of the day, there might be different services and different manufacturing verticals, but roti kapda makan mein roti still comes first. And you need food on the table. You need agricultural supply chains to work properly. You need to make sure that farmers and associated businesses have access to various, as in are in a way able to function smoothly to ensure that a country of 1.3 billion people and the world which is kind of, as in the population across the world is over time only going to grow, has access to safe food, has access to food which is nutritious, and this can only happen when these tiny problems which are existing in our current agricultural landscape get addressed. The other big opportunity over here is the fact that, and a part of it was, I think, also driven by the fact that during lockdown, a lot of these supply chains got disrupted. There was a lot of innovation which happened during this lockdown, and the lawmakers have kind of understood the impact which entrepreneurs and youngsters can bring into, or new ideas can bring in revolutionizing the entire agricultural value chain. So and the government's kind of trying to open up this entire space. So what we saw is a lot of the so agriculture is also a fairly regulated space, right? So when you want to sell imports, you need to have specific licenses. When Bayer has to design products, those go through a approval cycle, and these are fairly long and tedious approval cycles. So it's a fairly regulated space. I'm not saying it's over regulated. That regulation is required because you're dealing with the livelihoods of almost 50-60% of the people in our country. So it has to be managed well. But those regulations are, or those systems are now becoming more and more clear and very structured. So you now know that, okay, these are the different preconditions which have to be followed. There is now almost every state has an online registration process. You follow the norms and you apply online and you kind of get your licenses. The central government, by bringing in these new acts, has kind of opened up the market. So we as someone who specializes in connecting smallholder farmers with large buyers, now doesn't have to go and get specific approvals from every state. We can kind of go ahead and set up our operations anywhere. So our seventh state and eighth state become easier for us. There is a lot of debate whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. For us personally, we think that's a good idea because you're opening up or freeing up the markets, which enable producers now to choose where they want to sell. Any new system will always have issues, and I think over time, as the system sits in and people think about it and they figure out what needs to evolve, those changes will happen. But at least the government has now started looking at ways in which you can open up the market, you can make it more structured, you can kind of make sure that even new players with limited resources can try out things in the space, and which is fantastic opportunity for entrepreneurship, because you've got a bunch of problems. The structural difficulties which existed in the system, or the barriers to entry, are now being slowly removed. So as an entrepreneur, you can pretty much compete with a large company which might have a lot of resources on the field. Uh, the COVID-19 situation also kind of presented or kind of also reset most of the operations. So now it's no longer about how much money or what resources do you have. It's about who's kind of ready to take the challenge and get down to the field and start solving those problems. So those, I think, are the opportunities which have opened up in the agri-entrepreneurship space. And then finally coming to what is the role of technology. And when we look at technology, we don't want to limit ourselves to just talking about digitization of farmer records and kind of bringing in traceability using digital tools, but actually looking at problems which farmers face. So it should not be that you kind of find a technology and then you go around searching for a problem which fits that technology, which is at times unfortunate, because there are great tools and there are great technologies, but they might not be viable for the situation which our farmers are. What I would suggest is everyone spends sufficient amount of time in the field. We ourselves, we took 3 years to really figure out what we wanted to do. It took us 3 years to work with farmers, work with our other stakeholders to to really understand where the problems were. A typical smallholder farmer would not have the resources to, they are pretty much, they are in a pretty sad state. Their resources are very limited. They are dependent on, at times, money lenders, local money lenders, to ensure that their products they can kind of put inputs into their field. If you've got a bad crop year, things become even more difficult for you. So the situation is difficult. So one needs to really get down to the field, understand what the situation really is. Get into the head of the farmer, understand what constraints they work with, and then figure out what technologies there are, instead of working the other way around and kind of figuring out a technology and think that, okay, it's really cool, why don't we go ahead and try it out with farmers. Yes, that's a great idea, but then spend enough time on the field before you decide on, okay, this is what you really want to do. So that's one part. In terms of technology, where the opportunities are, the first opportunity is obviously in production side. In production, one can look at inputs, which is typically dominated by the large agro input players, which are at the cutting edge of which are at the cutting edge of defining new technology, bringing in new products. But even young startups, someone who's got some background in biotechnology, or someone who's got some background in chemistry, or someone who's got some background in mechanical sciences, can really come up with products which can revolutionize farming, as long as you understand what the farmer's needs are. So these products, the demand has to come from the field, while the products might be created in a lab. And it is very important that there is a lot of testing, and there is a lot of back and forth between the field and the lab to really come up with a product which is going to create value. There is a lot of scope in kind of improving the asset utilization which is there. So there are certain warehouses, a lot of people have machinery available with them. Can there be Uberization of tractors and other farm machinery? There are startups which are already trying that. Can you kind of also do some sharing of water? And there is some ways in which informally a lot of farmers share water with each other. But can you kind of make it more structured and more easy to execute? Can you make it standardized, which can be done across the country? Can you kind of look at other assets or other resources which can be shared and kind of ensure that you are using those better? Can you bring in efficiency by the use of technology and smart handling and logistics systems, which reduce the overall overhead which is associated with managing agricultural value chains? So these are some of the problems where technology can play a role. Well, again, like I said, one has to spend time to really understand where the problems are. And there are more than enough opportunities. You might want to start off with one thing, but you might land up in another problem, as in you might find another problem which is even more exciting. And each one of those problems, I think, is a billion-dollar problem. So if there are entrepreneurs, young students who really want to take up agri, as in who are looking at agri as a potential opportunity, I would strongly suggest spend some time on the field. You will find enough exciting ideas. Go back to your rooms or labs and classrooms, and you'll find solutions. So these are simple solutions which need to get deployed there, but all you need to do is you need to be patient, because agriculture is something which gives you, as in which happens, you get 2 slots in a year. So you generally get the Kharif slot and you get the Rabi slot. If you miss the sowing season, assuming you are a seed company and you miss the sowing season, you'll have to wait another year to kind of get that shot. So be patient, because you don't know whether is going to be favorable, whether you are going to be able to get things on track at the right time. But if you are patient, if you are observant, there are enough solutions which can be created, and each of those solutions can reach out to over 100 million farmers in our country. Plus, the greatest advantage is, I think the world is looking at India for coming up with solutions for smallholder farmers. We are pretty much the leading country when it comes to being the guiding light for other developing or underdeveloped nations in terms of resolving their agricultural issues. So everyone is looking at India, and we can be at the forefront of not just creating enough opportunities for future enterprises in the country, but also things which will go abroad and scale up fairly quickly. Those are the broad thoughts which I had. Unfortunately, I had been on the road, so I could not put together a presentation. I would have loved to do that, but thank you, Professor Moni, for giving this opportunity. And it's really nice to see that Shobhit University's kind of taken up this agenda and is moving forward on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aneesh Jain. Even though you are the founder of Gram Unnati, so this Gram Unnati is making this, you are an entrepreneurship Unnati. You know that you will be an icon for many entrepreneurs, young rural youths to come up. So it is a Gram Unnati to, rural youths Unnati. It's very nice being you are from IIT, and I'm also very happy that I'm also from IIT Chennai 76, 78 MTech Computer Science batch. And I'm very nice to see that as I have, as an IIT and computer science person, got interest in agriculture science, not like Dr. Sangeeta, Mendiratta, she was by training, by education, she's a biologist. And, but we are not like that. We have converted people from computer science to agricultural discipline. I'm very happy to see both sides that, today it was very nice to have the address by Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta and also from, Mr. Aneesh Jain. She represents a company which is dealing with 2 crore farmers in India, and you represent a company which is dealing with the 2 lakhs farmers on value chain. And it's on the whole, we got real benefit of your, understanding, your prescription, to the, agriculture sector. Now it's a time for me to, invite the Honorable Chancellor, Shri Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra, to give a valedictory address. Shri Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra is the co-founder and Chancellor of Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, a NAC accredited deemed to be university, and Shobhit University, Gango, Uttar Pradesh. He is a prominent social entrepreneur based in New Delhi and carries leadership roles in many organizations. He has been nominated as the co-chairman of National Council on Education of ASSOCHAM, the oldest apex chamber of commerce in India for the year 2022-21. Shri Kunwar Shekhar Vijendra is a persistent advocate of initiatives for education for all, secular values, crisis management through diplomatic and peaceful ways, and globalized system of learning and harmonious coexistence. He has been instrumental in the development of a number of higher educational institutions in North India, including 2 universities, many research centers, an Ayurvedic medical college, and College of Naturopathy and yogic sciences, and a 100-bed Ayush hospital. He is very actively involved with a number of social organizations, acknowledging his contribution in the areas of education and other concerns. He has been copiously honored and awarded. He has traveled widely in India and abroad to the countries like United States of America, UK, Germany, Australia, Russia, China, South Korea, Vietnam, Mongolia, United Arab Emirates, Mauritius, Rwanda, Uganda, and Croatia, etc., to participate in various professional, social, and educational activities. Shri Kunwar Shekhar is a passionate Gandhian, avid reader, keen learner, and social speaker, an occasional poet and a dreamer. And in view of his vision, he has established 4 centers of excellence: Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies Center, and Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Informatics Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications. Honorable Chancellor, over to you for the welcome address.
Thank you very much, Prof. It's always a pleasure indeed. There seems to be, yes, it's always a pleasure indeed to be a part of this wonderful webinar series. I congratulate Shobhit University and our Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies for taking up this initiative. Because throughout the country, we are talking about farmers. Now, especially if we look at from last few months, we are looking farmers which are not visible actually, but they are giving us food. They are giving us so many things around. Sometimes we are appreciating them, and many times we forget to appreciate them. I'm thankful to Dr. Sangeeta Devar. Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta, you are doing a wonderful job. Thank you very much. However, I listened to you in between, like a few of your presentation and all those things, but I understand that anybody who has devoted his time, his energy, his life, even as a professional, for the benefit of farmers, this is something which needs to be appreciated and acknowledged. Thank you for that. Mr. Aneesh Jain, I was listening to him, and he said that I was on road. That's why I was not able to put a presentation. This is exactly what is required from entrepreneurs. And the day we decide to be on road for the benefit of farmers with a vision to double their income, the change will start coming. So, Mr. Jain, my all good wishes to you. This is a dream we all see, that Gram Unnati should be there, Unnat Gram should be there, and definitely people like you, those who have a different training but decided to come into agriculture field, they can bring the change, they will bring the change. And it is not only social service, it has a lot of professional possibilities and opportunities also. If somebody wants to be big, even financially, there are possibilities. And this is one of the way to do social service, to empower the nation and to get empowered. So my good wishes to both of you, and thank you for sparing your time and sharing your experiences, your vision, your passion with us. Digital AgriTech, an industry perspective. We all are talking about digital India. We all are talking about that farms, agriculture has to be digitalized. There are certain issues which we all are discussing again and again and again. Now we are talking about the disruption of COVID-19 has brought an opportunity for innovation. Yes, a lot of things are happening. The government has also decided with these 3 bills. I should not comment it as it is an academic platform, but intentions are there that yes, whatever way it is possible, we should try to bring the farmers and their income should be at par with the income of all those who work that hard. The issues, if we look at sustainability of production, is a big issue. Monetization of farmers' produce is a big issue. Re-strengthening the extension services is a big issue. Recognizing agriculture as an enterprise and enabling it to operate as such by addressing various structural weaknesses. This is what we all have to do. These are very important issues. If I look at the document, Doubling Farmers' Income, which has been published by the government, and there is a chapter which speaks about digital technology in agriculture. Professor Moni must have spoken about that. But if I look at role of digital technology, digitalization across the agri-value system, digitalization of villages, roadmap for modernizing agriculture, marketing innovations, all such things are there. Today we are talking about machine learning, AI, how robotics can help, how nanotechnology can help, how genomics can help. So many things are happening. What we have to do actually? As a university, if I look at, the job is to provide a platform to all stakeholders to come and share their knowledge, their experience, their learning with the public at large. And what this webinar is doing, and I compliment Professor Moni for doing that very passionately. 2, creation of knowledge. How that knowledge can be created? Knowledge is always created when we integrate the different experiences and exposure of different stakeholders. When we start a dialogue, when we start talking, when we start learning from the failures. And this learning from failures, only universities can do. Only universities can ask for. Because if we look at political system, they are afraid to fail. If we look at anybody, even an entrepreneur or industry, they are very much afraid to fail. However, entrepreneurs, they have to fail again and again and again to become instant successful. And this is exactly what has to be done. I belong to a small village of Uttar Pradesh. I know what the company of Dr. Sangeeta doing there. They must be doing, because it's one of the leading company of the country. But I wish that the organizations of Mr. Jain, now they should come in. When Honorable Prime Minister said that we have to double the income of our farmers by 2022, I always say that many of us were not believing in it. But after all these 10 webinars, I can say with very much confidence, yes, it is possible. Because these 10 webinars have given me an opportunity to learn new things, to experience all those wonderful experiences, what is happening, what practically people are, like you are doing there, what I was not knowing. And this learning has given me a confidence, yes, it is possible. But it is possible when, what very important point Mr. Jain said, that if anybody has a passion to learn, to go in agri field, or to work in agri field, or to start a startup in agri field, they have to go in the field. This is what exactly Honorable Prime Minister said. From lab to lands, and from land to lab. This integration has to happen. And this integration will bring digital world with the farmers. Generally what is happening, that we are expecting, we are telling, okay, हमने SMS दे दिया है, अब बड़ा digitalization हो गया. Now we can send him message. Then we started, we have e-hearts, बड़ा digitalization. Now he can go there and do it. Then we said, okay, we will put the price and everything on the websites. Now we have done wonders. But if we go actually to the land, we will see how much diversity is there, how much limitations are there. Possibly, in spite of the fact that possibilities are there, infrastructure is not there. If even intent is there and infrastructure and investment will not be there, new creation will not happen. Never happen. And that infrastructure has to be of two nature. One, what Shobhit University is doing, intangible infrastructure. And second is an infrastructure which corporates and the government has to do, that is tangible infrastructure. Intangible infrastructure is always of knowledge. What we are trying to do. So intent is there, infrastructure will be there, results will start coming. I am really happy and thankful that you people are doing wonderful job. India's agriculture has demonstrated, in spite of the fact that there are many challenges, remarkable progress in last few years. And the major contribution is of biological scientists, supplemented by an intensified policy framework in last few years. Now we have to club it with industry. Many times what happens, Dr. Sangeeta, I would like to mention that the companies have their own vision. When they do CSR with a target. I'm not talking about your company. Specifically, I'm mentioning, but in general, I'm talking. When they do CSR, they have a target how they can sell their brand or they can make their brand or their product more visible to the people, and the CSR is limited to that. I always say to the companies like Bayer and big companies especially, that if you want to do some CSR, fund some projects in universities, in institutions. Because it is more important that new knowledge is created. Some innovation starts. And when innovation is also there in villages, there is so much jugaad happening. I always say one thing, that there is a very thin line in between a jugaad and innovation, When we find a temporary solution of a problem, then we call it jugaad. And the moment we find a sustainable solution of a problem, it becomes innovation. So it means we have to go to the youth, which is coming to universities, institutions, and ask them, okay, look, there is a problem in your area that is a local problem, and you find a solution. There are many books written on jugaad. So many things are happening. So I wish that organizations, AgriTech companies, other companies, companies those who are doing something for the agriculture, they should start identifying those local solutions, those who are temporary solutions, give the task, a project to the universities to come up with a sustainable permanent solution. And if that sustainable, replicable solution will be there, then it will help many people around, not only in India, but anywhere in the world where this problem will be there. And in agriculture, the best thing with digital world is that only, that once we have a solution, that solution is generally sustainable and we can expand it. It is expandable to any place. We can go any place. So thank you very much, Professor Moni and Dr. Sangeeta and Mr. Jain for this wonderful webinar. And I am sure that this industry perspective, what we were talking today, and which was full of passion and inspiration, our students and other viewers, those who are viewing us or those who will be looking to this video recording later on, maybe on YouTube channel of the university or Facebook channel or other mediums, they will learn something new and they will also get inspired to do something for the farmers. And we have to remember, if we are doing anything for the farmers, actually we are doing that particular thing for us. Because I always say, every morning when you get up, if you are getting a cup of tea, breakfast, lunch, dinner, anything, first say thank you to God and then to farmer, then start eating. That due respect has to be given. And our AgriTech companies, digital world, has to do that by creating new knowledge which can be used by them on the field in the farms. Thank you very much. God bless us all. Please stay safe. Thank you. You are on mute.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Chancellor, for your way forward valedictory address. You are always an inspiration to many of all the people working with you, and even though it made me to work with the university because of the inspiration which I draw from you. And I would like to summarize and give a vote of thanks. Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta, in her Madam, can you come on with your video on, both Mr. Aneesh as well as you? Dr. Sangeeta Mendiratta, she brought an international experience and national experience to the audience. And I'm very happy that in my introduction, I talked about the 7 mission mode programs, the recommendation of the doubling the farmers' income by 2022. By listening to her address, the way in which where India, her division is introducing digital technology-based solutions to the small and marginal farmers to the tune of about 2 crore in the country is enormous. And and she also, in her about 1 hour discussion, 1 hour 10 minutes discussion presentation, she has given a wide spectrum of opportunities, and the opportunities comes out from the problems and the solutions and the sustainable solutions which she talked about it, and the passion in which she presented. I known her for many years, and the first time I met her with the same passion, with the same smile, Today also I'm able to see the same passion and the same smile on her face when she delivered the talk for about more than 1 hour, 10 minutes. And madam, we, from the center, from the university, where we have got two specialized center of excellence, apart from the School of Agriculture Science, Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness Management and Disaster Management Studies, and Industry 4.0, Technology Solutions and Applications. We would like to, get associated with your industry for various digital technology solutions which you are working with the farmers to become a case study for our students. From the university, this is the first university which has established the Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Studies, is the first kind in the world. We offer MTech in Agriculture Informatics to train BS Agriculture Science graduates and BTech Engineering graduates to have, appropriate skill development by using IT in agriculture. It's the first university in the country, in the world. BTech Agriculture Informatics, BG Diploma in Agriculture Informatics, and a Diploma in Agriculture Informatics. Then, we would like to, discuss with you, and also, if possible, we would like to have an appropriate institutional collaboration with the base India with respect to agricultural informatics as a discipline, for the rural India, for the rural youth, to promote umpteen number of agri startups, which I mentioned in my introduction, that the country can have 2.25 lakhs agri startups through information technology, digital technology. And you are given a vast scope, ample opportunities for, working with Bare India in a very big manner in the country. And you also said it very nicely that the brought out demand supply constraints, and he also talked about innovation, in agriculture, and how the technology evolves constantly, but how it has to be, used properly in the agriculture sector. And also very nicely said that, he talked about there are, various areas like agri biotech companies and agricultural fintech companies and agricultural supply chain technology company, and 7 areas where you mentioned about it, and you also talked about agri infratech companies and so on and so forth. And as a digital AgriTech, in an industry perspective, you brought a lot of justification and ample scope for the rural youth to jump into this area. And we are very happy that today your more than 1 hour address has given a lot of confidence for the people, for the rural youths in the country to get into digital technology in agricultural value chain. And since you have got example for every area, which I talked about it, and it will give a very good institutional collaboration between Bare India and Soviet University through these 2 centers of excellence. We thank you from our heart for your wonderful address to the audience. And you were not only, you talked as a scientist, but you talked as a professor, as a teacher, to the students, so that without making any confusion, you talked in a very simple English for everybody to understand thoroughly. Thank you very much, and for your wonderful address. Next is that I am very happy that Mr. Aneesh Jain, he talked very nicely that as an engineer, he founded this Gram UNNATI, and it is a UNNATI for the rural youths. They work in 6 states, and as an engineer, who is now jumped into the agricultural area, he said it. An engineer sees a problem as an opportunity. This is the DNA. That a lot of problems, and we are seeing as an opportunity, and we use digital technology to bring appropriate solutions to the farming community. So thank you very much, Mr. Aneesh Jain, and your wonderful, extrovert talk to the audience. And we'll be very happy to get associated with your, startup, and to work with, to get, benefit to our students, and also to get involved in various, appropriate certification diplomas as a joint venture between UNNATI and the Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies Center. And with this, I would like to thank both of you for the time which you have taken to be with us, to address to our audience. And this, live telecast will be available both in the university website, and I will also send you the link, which is the YouTube link, which you can also circulate to the, various other, collaborators. And normally, this webinar series is attracting a lot of views. Every talk is getting more than 3,000 views, within a short span of 2 to 3 days. And the universities associating a research scholar with every topic which the webinar series, in every week which we adopt, to work further for research related activities, which the research scholars and also from the centers of excellence, we would like to request you to get involved, whatever the time you may have, to further, work with more enthusiasm to develop more opportunities, more solutions in a sustainable manner from the problems which you have seen both internationally and nationally at the grassroots level. Thank you very much. Mr. Aneesh Jain said that he took 3 years to understand, but I took 25 years to understand agriculture systems. Thank you very much for your participation and greeting from, and we greet from the Shobhit University. And for more research inquiries, please contact Professor Moni Madaswamy, Professor Emeritus and Chairman, and former Director General, National Informatics Center, Govt of India, New Delhi. Email address moni@shobhituniversity.ac.in. And the webinar, is closing now, and we leave the studio. Thank you very much. Thank you.